All right, my friends, let's go over the 3-point content ecosystem. So this is a broad overview before we dive into each part, right? I want you to understand what we're doing from a top-down view before we understand how to write the newsletter, how to write threads or LinkedIn posts or carousels or captions or other medium form content, but then also how to write tweets from those things and how it all kind of plays together, right? So, first, the reason behind this is because, one, most people that start on social media don't prioritize long form content. This is a mistake because everyone's telling you, oh, you need to, Instagram is giving a lot of traffic to people that do shorts, and oh, TikTok's blowing up, and this, that, and the other's blowing up. And it's like, that's cool, but you're not building any depth. You're not allowed to do what you know or what you enjoy doing because you have to cater to the algorithm the entire time. You're not building authenticity. You're not building authority. You're not building trust. Sometimes, maybe, but are you going to go from landing a TikTok to, say, instantly closing a $5,000 to $10,000 coaching client? No, probably not. You may be able to sell courses here and there, but you're still not building, you're not nurturing the audience, which is a huge part of sales and marketing, right? And so the other option is to build out like email sequences, lead magnets, whatever it may be. But I've just found this to work better, and it is much more aligned with the lifestyle that I want to create and the things that I want to write about, right, on a consistent basis. So this is my blog, right? So if you use Beehive or Substack or something else, this is pretty much your backlogged newsletters, right? That's what these are going to be. And so in mine, we're going to go over these two, which are my most recent ones, and it helps illustrate this content ecosystem fairly well. Now, the one thing that won't be included here is the YouTube video just yet. This is a writing course, so that's something I'll go over. But I do use these as YouTube scripts, and then I end up posting them here. So then when I do link my blog post under content to send people to it, they can also subscribe on YouTube or watch the video. So I don't have to plug the YouTube video over and over. It just gets traffic over time. So the first one that we are going to go over, and this, I may not have illustrated the importance of this enough yet, is that one, email sequences are static, right? You can test them, do whatever. Lead magnets, they're static. Having a newsletter that you write every single week not only keeps you creative, not only is it fun, not only does it allow you to do what you love for what you write because you're not dependent on the algorithm for growth. Like when you write tweets and other things, yeah, you're going to have to cater to the algorithm. You're going to have to try and get engagement, but you don't have to do that in your blogs and newsletters, right? Which is the keystone, the cornerstone of your week. Now, the benefit of this is that when you plug a lead magnet, like a free download, that's what a lead magnet is you're aiming for their email, but there's no depth or authority. So what a backlog newsletter does is, one, they can subscribe to get these emails weekly so that you can promote in a different way. But not only that, they get to read, they get exposed to your products, which once they've built depth and once they trust you and once they like you after reading your newsletter, they're 10 times more likely to buy, right? And so they read through the newsletter, and these are like little salesmen, right? They're little salesmen online that they're like lead magnets, sales pages, and anything else in one. They build the depth behind your brand that can't be done with just a few tweets. People can read tweets from yours, but you know those accounts where they get a ton of engagement, but I guarantee they make less than $1,000 a month because they don't have any depth or authority or trust or loyalty or uniqueness to them. That's where this system comes into play, and that's what this fixes. So you can see here, this is the post, right? This is the newsletter that I wrote. We're going to go over exactly how I structure this, but I would recommend if you need inspiration for how to structure your newsletter, feel free to read mine, right? If you read my newsletters and kind of piece together the things that I teach you, and try to notice them, that's how you're going to learn much, much quicker. So here we have the newsletter. I wrote the newsletter, and then what I do, as you will learn, is I repurpose the main part of it. I write the third part of it in a way that will do well in a thread and provides a lot of value. So we'll learn how to do this, but I want to show you how I repurpose this, because we write the newsletter and then we condense it into a thread, which is right here, right? And it's a tiny bit different. And you can see that I shortened it quite a bit. Like there's only 2 tweets before we get straight into the here are the 8 steps, right? And then the 8 steps are condensed, and then boom, this can be turned into an Instagram carousel, which I'm going to post on Monday, so you won't see it yet, but I'll show you a different one. But the main thing you have to understand here is that this is not a course on content repurposing. This is a course on the content ecosystem and writing, right? You have to lock this down before you branch out to any other platform, right? You have to get the newsletter, the threads, and the tweets and your writing down before you branch out to any other platform, okay? Don't try to do it all at once. You're just going to overwhelm yourself, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, this doesn't work, when you're just not focused on one platform, building leverage there, and then transferring that leverage with the validated ideas you have, the content that will already do well, and then breaking into another platform with a strategy, right? So focus on one platform right now, whether it be LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram, but just focus your writing. Focus on getting better at writing. I think that's best done through Twitter because it forces you to condense your ideas into individual tweets, right? It forces you to write short form. It forces you to understand what the main points are that you're trying to get across in the most concise way possible. That's what makes high impact writing. So I turned the newsletter into a thread, and then I plugged it at the end, right? So now people go to this to see the full newsletter, and not only will they probably subscribe to my email list, I've gotten 5 to 10x more subscribers from me doing this system as opposed to plugging a lead magnet like my Power Planner or the 7 Days to Genius, right? So not only are they going to subscribe to your newsletter, so they get these directly to them, so they don't have to you don't have to rely on them seeing it on the timeline when you promote it. It goes straight to their email address. They see your products as well, and this is how I make all of my sales, right? So I just plug my newsletters under content, under my threads, and that is how I make sales on my products. These are my products: community, new course, cohort, right? That's how I sustain my income, is I literally just plug my newsletters once a day. And now after that, I didn't promote on that one, but where did it go? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, here's an example of one tweet that I repurposed, right? I like to visualize my big ideas. We'll get into that because it helps you come up with metaphors and explain things more simply. But I pretty much just copied the quote and included my thing, and this tweet did pretty well. I had another one, which I'll find because I really like the analogy, but this one did well. The one about, your mind is a supercomputer. Your mind is a supercomputer. Your attention is RAM, blah, blah, blah. That was pretty much in here, right? So I pretty much condensed this idea into one tweet, right? And then I condensed this into one tweet. And I think those were the main ones for this article, because tweets, I like to treat tweets, which we'll learn about. Again, there's a lot to this, but I like to treat tweets as potential content ideas, right? If my tweets do exceedingly well, then why would I not turn it into a newsletter, thread, and more tweets around that topic so those do even better, right? And that's how you keep a perpetual cycle of high-performing content that will lead to growth, sales, email subscribers, everything. And so that's what I did. I condensed that and, of course, plug the newsletter. And this gets so much more engagement than plugging your products. Like, if you've ever plugged a product or service under your tweet, you understand it barely gets any engagement. This gets so much more clicks and engagement than promoting a product. And then it builds trust, and they're more likely to buy your products here because you aren't selling them out of the gate. Do you understand what I'm saying here? And Even if you don't have a product, you're still building that trust and authority until you're ready to launch one. And then you just have so much content that you can continue repurposing and promoting your products. Like, it's insane. I've been going back and rewriting my newsletters with some new like tips and tricks and formats. And then it's just like, once you have 10, 20 newsletters in place, you just go back and you rewrite them. And then you redo this entire cycle and grow the entire fucking time. It's insane. So that's that. We'll close those and we will look at this, because the beautiful thing about newsletters is that when they're actually written as a newsletter and you send them to your list, you can base the topic of them off of either something you plan on promoting or just whatever you want, right? I have a cycle where if a cohort is coming up, because the cohort like recurs, right? So the cohort happens 2-3 times a year, and 3 weeks leading up to that, that's when I start building authority and talking about topics relating to the cohort. I use the cohort for content ideas so that I can make more cohort sales. And then as that trickles down into threads and tweets, I just promote the cohort instead of the actual blog post. And that's how you make more sales, because you're building authority and you're talking about that specific thing more and more. So leading up to this course is a little bit of inception. I wanted to write a post about writing, right? And so I led off with my introduction, and you'll learn how to structure these things. But then why writing? Again, why writing? Have my little graphic to help explain things. I've turned this into a tweet, right? You can see this being a tweet in itself if I just condense it a tiny bit. But then 9 steps. So like the perfect formula for a viral thread is just like X steps to starting whatever. Like, we'll go over this. But then I included these, and not only is this super high value and it teaches people about writing, but it gets people ready to buy. I guarantee a ton of you watching this bought this course simply because you read this article and you purchased it at the end. Right here, 2-Hour Writer is on pre-sale, right? And so what I'm doing here is, as I lead up to a promotion, or when I want to promote something and say make more sales, then I base the topics around my money-making interest and plug things relating to that, right? From your domain of mastery, the money-making interest. So what I did from this is I took this article and I turned it into a thread, and I changed the hook, right? We'll learn how to write hooks, but that's the main thing I changed. And look how well this did. And so I condensed the newsletter into a thread. And for this one, I didn't really follow a traditional format. I kind of just wrote what I felt like writing, and it went on a bit long, but that's fine. I plug something here, keep going. You can see I have the steps. I included a little break, plug the course, and then at the end, I plug the newsletter. So same format time and time again. And this even got more engagement than the last tweet, which is insane. You do not see this on products. Did I even get high engagement on this? I got decent engagement, but like the other ones are better. So like this will get more engagement, more clicks, more email subscribers, more sales. Just makes sense. Now, from this, literally what I did to come up with tweet ideas is I started reading through this, right? And I let ideas come to mind. And so I wrote this tweet, which did okay for me. I know, 500 likes, but I wrote this tweet and then I plugged this. I could have plugged the newsletter, but it was getting closer to launch. It just made sense. And I used my own discretion to plug the actual course instead. And then the next one, I didn't even plug under this. But right. Wrote a tweet from that, and it did well. Do I have another one? Yes, writing is the foundation of tweets, threads, ads, newsletters, blogs, whatever. Learn to write, plug the course. Now, I want to show you one, like where I actually plugged that newsletter, because that got a good amount of pre-sale buyers. So there's that one. Where's the other ones? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So again, I didn't scroll far enough when I was going over these tweets, but I pretty much read through the article, right? And then I came up with this tweet: most powerful daily habit you can form, writing, blah, blah, blah. Plugged this, sends people to my list, and I get a lot of email subscribers for that. Writing is how you gain clarity. Again, this idea just sparked from the newsletter, and once you understand how to write a tweet, which we'll go over, then you just plug it under and you make sales and do whatever. And then every week I have one where I promote the letter itself when it goes out. Now, I'm sure you get the gist of what we're doing here from a very high level and the importance behind it. So the next thing is I want to show you on LinkedIn kind of what I did or what I discovered. So LinkedIn, I just copy and paste one high performing tweet over a day. And every week I've started writing my threads on LinkedIn first. Why? Because LinkedIn has a character limit and it forces me to condense the big ideas more. In the writing one, I just went on for too long. The writing thread that just went on for too long. But then when I repurposed it for LinkedIn, see, it did really well. And it was very condensed, right? So it's much, much shorter than the thread was. But then I realized, and this is perfect, is that this amount of text in LinkedIn, not only can this be pretty much copy pasted into a thread, and now the thread is better and more concise, but the amount of text that for LinkedIn allows for a post is pretty much the exact same that will fit in an Instagram carousel. So you can see this one. This got quite a bit of engagement. Where is it? See, this got 3,000. This got 11,000. And I just copy pasted the LinkedIn post into a template in Figma. You can use Canva. You can use Photoshop. You just copy paste it into a text block and like add some italics and bolds. That's really it. And then at the end, I had the pre-sale where I pretty much copy pasted the plug that I had in here in the comments, right? I just copy pasted this and added an image of the course, told them to go there or go to my link in bio, right? And this just leads to a bunch of sales. So you can see how infinitely replicable these are. And now today I showed you all of the posts I did on writing relating to promoting the course as it's getting closer to launch. And so what I did today is, excuse me, no idea why those allergies are hitting in, but then I just copied my writing tweets all into one carousel, included some of the arguments that I've done before. See, tweets, newsletters, blogs, writing. Excuse my allergies. I don't want to have to edit this, but then I include my call to action. So I'm just promoting on all platforms from content that stems from one high quality newsletter a week. Do you see the importance of this? Do you see how this can happen? Now, of course, again, this is a course on writing. This is newsletter, threads, tweets. Once you master that and master Twitter growth, take the bonus course that's at the end of this module, then use those strategies to branch into other platforms, because writing is much, much, much more than just writing. You have to get readers. You have to grow on social media if you ever want to monetize your writing, right? So that takes time and energy to actually grow and execute on a strategy to grow. So you can't do it on all platforms. It's just not going to happen. If you want to cross post and focus all of your energy on growing on one platform, perfect. But do not try to grow on all platforms at once. Get your ideas out there, get them validated. When you have a database of high performing tweets, then you can craft a strategy for growth on another platform, post the tweets, get in good engagement on them, get shares on them, and then blow up on that platform so much faster. So in my humble opinion, spend 1 year minimum growing on one platform first, preferably Twitter. Okay? Rant over. We still have a lot to go over. I hope you're enjoying this so far. Talk soon.